It's official, everyone. The Democrats seem focused on pushing their agenda before the new year brings changes in leadership. Now, recently, we learned about a tragic incident on the NYC subway where a suspect with a troubling history, a previously deported individual who returned during the Biden administration, was implicated. Meanwhile, President Biden has been making controversial decisions, including commuting sentences for individuals convicted of serious crimes just days before Christmas. This is a stark reminder of the policy priorities that we've been discussing. Take a look.
A migrant from Guatemala was arrested in connection to the death of a woman who was lit on fire and burned to death on a New York City subway train. A high-level NYPD source telling Fox News Digital he entered the U.S. illegally in 2018, and we do want to warn you that the video we are about to show is graphic. According to the NYPD, around 7:30 a.m. yesterday morning, the suspect approached a sleeping woman on a stationary train and lit her clothes on fire with a lighter. The video shows the suspect sitting on a bench after and watching the unidentified woman burn to death inside the subway car. The suspect was apprehended after 3 high schoolers recognized him from wanted posters, and officers found a lighter in the suspect's pocket when he was arrested.
At this hour, I am pleased to announce that a short time ago, alert NYPD transit officers took a person of interest into custody. I want you to know that this apprehension was another in what has become a series of joint efforts involving different crimes between the police and the public we serve.
This comes as President-elect Donald Trump plans mass deportation starting his first day in office.
On my first day back in the Oval Office, I will sign a historic slate of executive orders to close our border to illegal aliens and stop the invasion of our country. And on that same day, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. Every single foreign gang and illegal alien member, all of this criminal network operating on American soil will be dismantled, deported, and destroyed.
Sources say the suspect has no prior arrests in New York and 1 prior arrest in Arizona. Charges are still pending against him. Hard to believe what I just read.
Such a horrific story.
So what do you guys think? Should President-elect Trump consider moving up his inauguration date, perhaps to January 1st, to start the new year with a fresh approach? Now, it just kind of seems like our current president is making some highly questionable decisions in these final days. As Senator Eric Schmidt put it, it's truly concerning. Take a look.
Republican Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri, member of the Armed Services, Commerce, and Joint Economic Committees. He was also the former Attorney General of Missouri, joins us now. So what do you think of these commutations? 37 out of 40 death row inmates, including people who were responsible for taking the lives of young children. Biden says this is to ensure a fair and effective justice system. For the family members of the victims, how is that in any way doing that?
It isn't, and it's 2 days before Christmas. I can only imagine the grief and the shock that these families are experiencing as they get ready for the holidays, remembering the loved ones that were lost and now having to deal with this sort of insult to injury. And I think Joe Biden, in his effort to Trump-proof, we saw some of that, for the next administration, whether it's hiding DEI workers or things at the border. This is just beyond the pale. And I think he's cementing his status as one of the worst presidents in American history, certainly this side of Woodrow Wilson. And I think, John, in that intro, you told it's important, as a former prosecutor myself, I think it's important to talk about the victims here. Lexis Roberts went on a camping trip with her mother and Thomas Sanders. Thomas Sanders, on the way back, took her mother out and executed her in cold blood in front of Lexis, then slit Lexis Roberts' throat and let her die in the woods. This is someone that Joe Biden, on the eve of Christmas, decided to commute his sentence. This is nuts. This is totally nuts. And so the outrage is real. It's justified. And again, Joe Biden on his way out is again cementing his status as one of our worst presidents.
Now, let me get this straight, guys. They want us to believe that President Joe Biden is too incapable to face accountability or even run for president again, yet he's being allowed to make significant decisions like issuing commutations. These are for individuals with very serious criminal convictions, and it's not hard to wonder if it's being done out of just sheer defiance. So where are Joe Biden's advisors? Are the Democratic leadership really comfortable with these decisions? It almost feels like if they can't stay in control, then they're willing to leave chaos in their wake. Does anybody else feel the same way? And if you guys haven't heard, there was a heartbreaking incident in New York involving a tragic loss of life on the subway. Now, the suspect involved is reportedly an individual who had been deported during the previous administration but managed to make their way back into America. This is deeply troubling on so many levels. I won't show you guys the video. It is deeply unsettling, and I don't want to expose anyone to that. What I can share is that the authorities say that the surveillance footage showed a suspect approaching a woman aboard a stationary subway train in New York City and committing a tragic act. The suspect, identified as 33-year-old Sebastian Zapita from Guatemala, has been charged with first-degree and second-degree murder as well as first-degree arson. Zapita's background has raised a lot of questions. According to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, he was arrested by Border Patrol in 2018 after crossing illegally into Arizona and was deported shortly thereafter during the Trump administration. However, he later re-entered the U.S. illegally. The exact date and location of his re-entry, it remains unknown, though it likely occurred in recent years. So this situation highlights ongoing concerns about border policies and enforcement. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch described the case as profoundly troubling, noting the senseless nature of this crime. Authorities emphasized their commitment to ensuring accountability and protecting the safety of all New Yorkers. Yet this tragedy has sparked a larger conversation about how immigration policies and sanctuary city protections might contribute to such incidents. This is why conversations about immigration enforcement are so critical. For instance, President-elect Trump recently announced plans to implement sweeping border security measures, including what he described as the largest deportation operation in U.S. history. He planned to sign executive orders on his first day in office to address what he views as an urgent crisis at the border. These are pressing issues that we need to discuss as a nation to ensure both safety and accountability. So what did I tell you guys? Democrats talk, but President-elect Trump, he follows through on his promises. So if you guys are with me, drop a quick yes in the comments down below, hit the like button to show your support. Don't forget to subscribe and tap that notification bell. That way you don't miss future updates like this and other important stories. No spin, just straight facts, you guys, promise you. All right, so let's jump in. So on the topic of America First, President-elect Trump is gearing up for bold action on day one back in the office. Now, alongside plans for a major deportation operation, Trump hinted at another initiative that could address our national interests, reclaiming full ownership of the Panama Canal. Now, Trump took to Truth Social, referring to it as the United States Canal, and criticized the current fees that Panama charges the United States. He reminded everyone that the canal, built over a century ago at a great cost to the United States, was handed over during President Jimmy Carter's administration under terms that was supposed to benefit Panama, not other nations. Trump's message is clear. If the original principles of that agreement are not upheld, the U.S. will demand the canal be returned. This is the America First leadership that voters supported in November, right? Meaning, outgoing President Joe Biden has sparked controversy with a series of last-minute decisions. Just days before Christmas, he commuted the sentences of dozens of individuals on federal death row as a part of what the White House calls an effort to promote a fair and effective justice system. Meanwhile, the president expressed his condolences for victims and their families. Many are questioning whether these actions align with his statements. It's a stark contrast to decisive leadership that we're seeing from President-elect Trump. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it. This is a difficult topic, but let's go over what's happened. President Biden has recently commuted sentences of several individuals. Along with them are individuals with deeply troubling histories, including those involved of cases of kidnapping, assault, and multiple homicides. So this decision has raised a lot of questions about the message that it's sending and the criteria used for such clemency. But that's not all, guys. Earlier this this month, President Biden also issued a blanket pardon for his son Hunter Biden. This is effectively erasing his convictions on federal gun charges and his guilty plea related to tax fraud. Many people see this as a strategic move to deflect attention from the broader controversies surrounding Hunter Biden's business dealings, which have repeatedly been linked to President Biden. Now, it's not hard to wonder if these high-profile acts of clemency are meant in order to distract from the real headlines, the implications of Hunter Biden's case, and also its potential connection to the President Biden himself. Now, we're not going to let this story fade away, though, guys. You can count on us to stay on top of it and bring you guys the facts as they emerge. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Turn on all notifications so you do not miss out on our future updates, guys. And while you're here, take a moment, check out our previous video on President-elect Trump standing firm during a challenging NBC interview. It is definitely a must watch and a great example of the leadership so many Americans voted for. Link in the description down below, guys. But as always, thanks so much for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you guys next time.